food and wine writer Rubik Lowen. Pushing and shoving, passive-aggressive looks, the cauliflower rice section has seen it all. But for good reason. It's delicious rice substitute that tastes and looks similar to the real thing, but it's made up of cauliflower and cauliflower alone. Pretty great, right? Wellness news outlet Well and Good wrote that the company, they haven't issued a national proclamation on limiting cauliflower rice, while New Jersey ban appeared to be adhered to. A representative at the Fairfield Trader Joe's said that the ban is there, but they're not actively enforcing it. How did cauliflower go from just being broccoli's weird cousin that you see that once a year at family reunions to shining star of the wellness world? Well, stated one of Wellgood's spokesperson, but there's a new cauliflower craze, and there's now cauliflower pizza crust. It's also infused into smoothies, of course, and that gluten-free game-changer cauliflower rice, which just might be too popular. Some on social media argued that Trader Joe's customers could put a little effort into it and make their own if the cauliflower rice is not available. All right, but a lot of people don't like to do it. That's why they go. And there's so many more of these health food chains or stores popping up because there's just such a demand for it. I mean, we have Whole Foods here in Tampa. That's a really sexy store. If you like to go in, I'm telling you. I have a student of mine, and she tells me that she works there. Not the one in Tampa, but in another state. But they're called, we got Whole Foods, and they call it Whole Check. Right? They say that because your whole check can go towards Whole Foods, all the stuff. I mean, the food is really amazingly healthy, but to eat healthy, it does take a little money. And, of course, they jack the prices up. Now, since Amazon has gone in, we'll see if the prices actually come down. But we have Sprouts. I have not yet gone into there. And I did try Trader Joe's, but I was huge into Whole Foods for a while. And for some things, I still go there. But if you can find a farmer's market for produce, and if you can find an organic farm that networks with some butcher that does it and does it at a fair price, you can knock some of those prices out where you don't have to pay it, but you have to do a little research in your area. There's always somebody discounting something, and you may have to drive a few extra miles down the road to get it. But stock up on it and be smart about it. But you don't have to pay that full price that you'll do with some of these outlets. You got to do a little homework. But the farmers markets is good, and you feel good about it because you're supporting the local economy. And that's a good thing, and you feel good about that. More times that you can buy local and help a local farm out, and buy your milk from there and buy your cream there at that location, it's a nice thing. And I try to help out as much as possible, but you feel good about it. And for some reason, it just it tastes better. It's fresher. And find one. Farmers market. Some of you on the weekend, you'll go to the farmers market. Some of your small towns and cities, you'll have a place where you can go down a downtown area or an area that's been designated for that particular thing, and you'll see all kinds of people coming out for fruits and veggies and stock up on it. It's just a nice way to bring the family out. If you haven't done that in a long time, hey, find one, go out, stock up. Now, you got to eat the stuff if you're going to buy the stuff. Don't let it waste because you don't want to waste anything. But, plan some meals out of it. And some of the stuff could be frozen. So if you buy too much, freeze it before it goes bad. But that's the craze, folks. Trader Joe's cauliflower rice. And, they may not be massively enforcing it, but I thought it was an interesting conversation because I have made cauliflower potatoes. And you can mash that stuff up, put a little Smart Balance in there, and a little garlic, bada bing, bada boom, and it's delicious. And it doesn't have the calories, and it doesn't have the glycemic spike in that. It's very easy to make, cauliflower. And you can go on YouTube, and you can find out how to make cauliflower rice, too. But it's very interesting. But again, it's to get the lower glycemic index. And I was going to make the point that was just out early last year that said that, the spike in your blood sugar actually affects your blood pressure, which now they say, if you eat sugar, you ever feel your heart kind of bump up a little bit when you're having too much of a sugar deal, but it raises blood pressure. So you kind of have to watch all of that stuff, especially when you get older. For some reason, some of you got arteries and organs of a friggin' animal. And they're just healthy as an ox, and no matter what you eat, like that 95-year-old that eats bacon and smokes cigars, and cigarettes, and says there's nothing wrong with them. That's an anomaly, baby. It'd be nice if there was more people like that. It's usually that you find the people that do that kind of stuff are on the farm. They're farmers, or there's people out in the country, and they don't got all the stress that city folks do. They're just calmer. They don't have stress. They're not lying to people. People are not lying to them. It's just a beautiful thing. I mean, they're at ease. They're enjoying themselves. And there's something to be said about stress kills, man. Stress kills. If you can get rid of it through exercise or, through dumping some negative people out of your life that do it. But, eating healthy is good. And I like to see more competition with stores that offer healthy alternatives and like that. That's something that we should all be looking, at our plates to find out how many vegetables we actually have on it. How many green things do you have on your plate? It's all carbs and there's nothing healthy on there. You got to put some healthy things on there. You can retrain your palate. What does it take, 30 days to make a habit? 30 days. So if you start walking, 30 days, it becomes a habit. Not hard. 30 days to eat broccoli. 30 days to eat rice cauliflower. For God's sakes, you can do something good. Donnie Wahlberg, Mark Wahlberg, well, Donnie, they're all in kind of show business kind of a deal, but this is a kind of a funny story because this brings back some funny memories. Well, back in my 20s, okay, I was a kid, and I was working in radio and worked with Chuck's organization For the People in White Springs. Back in the day at the Telford Hotel with the People's Radio Network and all that good stuff. But, we'd go to Gainesville, or I'd just go to Gainesville myself. But, after going to the country western or the jazz bar or whatever and had a few drinks, I wasn't a big drinker. But, the thing to do, the smaller towns was to go to the Waffle House. And if you've never been to the Waffle House, it's an experience. It really is. Covered and smothered, baby. I haven't been to a Waffle House in a while, though, I'll have to say. There's nothing wrong with a Waffle House. I mean, you get a good meal. It's grilled. It's fresh. It's cooked right in front of you. The coffee pot never runs out. And, you find good people in the Waffle House. That's a good thing. And it's open after midnight, which is the greatest appeal. But the actor and musician, Donnie Wahlberg, he left a very generous tip, and you're not going to, this is good for him, because I don't think I've ever left a tip this big, but he must have a bigger wallet than I. Apparently he does, because his generous gift to this waitress was $2,000, $2,000 for the Waffle House staff at Charlotte, North Carolina. I guess they're going to have to divide it, because it's for the wait staff. But man, $2,000, Waffle House. Big time grins on their face and appreciation for their great service. And it was Wednesday night of this past week. And Wahlberg, he later posted a photo of the receipt and himself with the staff on social media. He says, and this is kind of cool, he said, "My mom waited tables and my dad tended bars for years," Wahlberg wrote on Facebook and Instagram. "So when I walk into #Waffle House and the staff treats me like a king, you better believe that I treat them like queens." Wahlberg was in town late Wednesday after a day of shooting his TV show, Blue Bloods, and in preparation for a concert Thursday night with New Kids on the Block. His bill was $82.60 before the trip. So he also gave concert tickets, backstage passes to a fan of Blue Bloods, and he made a Facebook Live video of his conversation with her. Both posts went viral with over 100,000 combined reactions and thousands of shares and comments. And it even made it to the For the People broadcast today. One commentator said that he saw Wahlberg give all the workers front row tickets and backstage passes for the concert. Twitter got in on the the loftiest conversation, too, as well, praising Wahlberg for having a big heart and for his generosity. That's our guy, biggest heart in the world. Donnie, you're an angel from above, and I wish you were were more people like you around. God bless you today and tomorrow and always. One of the wait staff. Coolest thing I read today. What a great guy. Yeah, this is what I call pay it forward. And I talk about that occasionally where, you hear people at McDonald's, Starbucks, different places around the country that pay it forward. And what is that? Well, if you're in a McDonald's parking lot, or excuse me, in a drive-thru, you're getting your coffee, getting your Ed McMuffin, you get your sandwich, your Big Mac, or whatever you go for. You pay for somebody behind you. You don't know what their order is going to be, but you do it. Because they already know what the guy is if he's behind you. Maybe the other person behind him. You hold up the line, 2 or 3 cars, and then sometimes you start a chain. And then other people start paying, and back of you. I've had it happen to me. And so unexpectedly. And admittedly, sometimes when that happened, I was not very happy with the individual that cut in front of me. You see, when I go to McDonald's, and when I go to McDonald's for occasionally, is those burritos they have. I like them. They make them fresh. I put a little hot sauce on them, and they're pretty good. They got egg and sausage on there, and I think they're healthy. So anyways, a little sauce on there. But, there's there's 2 drive-thrus. But then it merges in where, one car goes in. You kind of merge into it. But, you're on your honor system. One car goes, then you go. Well, what happened was a car went, and then another car went, and they cut me off. And I wasn't very happy. I was running late. And it just seems that it's kind of got on my nerves. I'm like, this lady, what is she thinking? And all of a sudden, I go to get my credit card. He goes, oh, the lady in front of you paid for your meal. Now, it's like $4 maybe. But it made my morning. And it totally diffused. My blood pressure came back down. And I thought, wow. I was just being a butt. I didn't honk my horn. I didn't give her the finger. Anything bad. I don't do that anyway. Some people do. You get mad, and they're a teller. They'll tell you. They'll stick their head out the window. They'll get out of their car. They'll rev their engine. That wasn't me. But I was just upset. I just thought, come on, she saw me. But who knows what's going on inside of her mind and all that. But anyways, try it one time if you've never done anything crazy like that. You pay for somebody's meal, or even an officer or a veteran or somebody that needs it or doesn't even need it. And it could be a lady in a Mercedes. You say, oh, she doesn't need it. We all need it. It's good karma. And it's called paying it forward. Now, maybe you don't got $2,000 that you can give to a wait staff or anything like that. But I'll tell you what, they will never forget about that. And why does it always have to be a celebrity? And that's my takeaway on this whole thing. Why does it have to be a celebrity? Why does it have to be? And he's a great guy. But everybody's talking about it. Of course, he put it on Instagram. He put it on Facebook. And, he did a nice thing, and that was a beautiful thing. And he gave people free tickets and all. He didn't have to do any of that. But he got his deal. He's got his due. Everybody loves him. What a great guy. And he got a pat on the shoulder. But we're talking about that nobody even knows that you did it. Nobody needs to know that you did it. And I think those are the best moments, the best times where you just do something to make somebody else's day. And it could be a perfect stranger like we're just mentioned here. He didn't know these people. Donnie didn't know him. I didn't know the lady that paid for my stuff. All I knew was she cut me off, and I was upset. But it made me think, man, I need to do more of this kind of thing. More volunteer work. More things paying it forward. The reason being is because it enriches your life. You get more of a bang out of it than the other person did it. When you do that, you see the smiles, you see the reaction, and you never know what's going on in somebody's life and what happened. They could have just lost their spouse to cancer. Somebody just passed away. You don't know. They may have just thought about giving up on life altogether and just ending it. There's people here in the Tampa Bay area that jump off the Skyway Bridge. They park their car, get up in the bridge, and just jump off, and they're dead. Maybe I saved that person, for my generosity, my giving.